This handout is looking at the value of marginal product. So you've calculated marginal product, an average product, and you've seen the difference between the two. When we're looking at average product, we're just looking at the average that each worker makes. So we could add an additional worker and our productivity go backwards, but average product is still going to tell us that everyone is making something. So we really need to focus on marginal product. And what we have to determine is how many workers that we're going to hire based on the marginal product. And so what you need to do is figure out, when you add that additional worker, how much are you paying them and how much are they bringing in. So you will hire someone, it's kind of like that marginal benefit, marginal cost, or marginal revenue, marginal cost. You're going to do anything up until the point where you can get them as close to equal as you possibly can. You don't want your costs to be higher than your benefit, but if you can get them to be equal, then you will operate at that point. And so you can read all of this information. I'm not going to read it, but we do have number of workers and then their total product. So when you have 2 workers, they make 20. When you have 7 workers, they make 78. And you have to focus on some information here. She's paying each of them $60 a day. And then every extra pizza they bring in, she's making $9 off of that. So we have to calculate when we hire that next worker and pay them $60, how much are they bringing in for us, the value of that. So the first question down here, what is the principle of diminishing marginal productivity? And so as you add more workers to fixed resources, and when that means, if we're talking pizza, the more people, I know we have a lot of students that work at Pizza Hut. There are only so many people that you can put on that line making pizzas till you reach a point where if you continue to add more workers thinking that's going to help make more pizzas, it's just not going to work. Same with McDonald's. We have students who work at McDonald's. There are only so many workers that you can put back there, and if you continue to add more and more, productivity is actually going to go backwards. You're going to start running into each other. You're going to stop and talk to each other. And so the principle of diminishing marginal productivity says, as we add more labor to fixed resources, same number of ovens, same number of grills, at first, labor's contribution is positive. When there's nobody working back there and you add 1 worker to Pizza Hut, obviously productivity is going to go up by a lot, and the same with McDonald's. But as we continue to add more, that next worker is going to add some, but not as much as the first. And once you have 4 workers back there, that 4th worker will add some potentially, but not as much. And so at first we have increasing marginal productivity. Then as we start to add more workers, we're still going to be more productive, but not as productive as the one before. So that's where we get the diminishing. Until we reach the point we have so many people back there, everybody's just running in, everybody just gives up and decides not to do anything. And so that's when we start reaching the negative marginal product. The next question, how does average product differ from marginal product? Once again, if you have 20 people back there making 20 pizzas, on average, each one is making 1. Well, we know that that's probably not happening there back in Pizza Hut in that little area. You got probably 10 of them standing in a corner talking, while the other 10 might be doing something. It might be, more than that. But some of them aren't going to be able to do anything because there's just not enough room for them. But if you looked at the average, it makes it look like everyone's making 1. What we want to know is when we added that 5th worker and 6th worker and 7th worker, what actually happens to our productivity. And probably what we're going to see is it actually goes backwards. So the next one, which is more important in decision making, marginal or average product, it's marginal every single time. I want to know what that next worker does for me. And then if I hire another marginal or the additional worker, I want to know what that one is doing for me. I don't want to know well, I do want to know the average, but it's not going to help me in making any decisions on the number that I need to hire. And so this part of the handout right here is talking about marginal product, easy, and then we're going to calculate the value of that marginal product. So what this is saying is when we go from 2 workers to 3 workers, we're going from 20 to 40. So that is an addition of 20 pizzas. When we go from the 3rd to the 4th worker is adding 15. The next worker is adding 10, and how we're getting that 20 to 40 is 20. When we add the next one, we went from 40 to 55, so that is an addition of 15. From 55 to 65 is an addition of 10. From 65 to 73, that's an addition of 8. And from 73 to 78, that's an addition of 5. And then what we need to do is figure out the value, all right? So I know each one of these pizzas is worth $9 a piece, all right? So if we are making 20 additional ones and we multiply that times $9 each, we're going to get $180. How much are we paying this third worker? We're paying them $60. So since they're bringing in more than what we're paying them, we will hire that one. The next worker, the marginal product was 15, so they added 15, and once again, I'm making $9 off of that. So 15 times 9 is 135. I'm paying that worker 60. So I'm paying them 60, and I'm making 135 off of them. So I will continue to hire them. The fifth worker, 10 additional pizzas times 9, $90. I'm paying them 60. They're making me 30. I'm going to continue to hire them. The sixth worker, additional 8 pizzas. I'm making $9 a piece off that for $72. I'm only paying them 60, so I'm going to hire that one. So this seventh worker brings in 5. I'm making $9, so I'm making $45, but I have to pay that person $60. So when we're making decisions here, what we have to look at, once again, this is the value of our marginal product. The additional worker brought in 20, I'm making $9 a piece, and then I'm only paying them 60. So how many people am I going to hire? I'm going to hire 6, because any more employees, what I'm going to see is actually my productivity go down to the point where I'm not making any money and they're actually costing me.